He goes, well, Daniel, how do you feel about fighting monsters and wearing a tight shirt and showing off your muscles? I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah, been there. Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to make a fantasy film. My filmography is just me recreating the video store experience that I grew up in as a kid, and something that's always been missing is the sword and sorcery films. So I really just wanted to try and reinvigorate that subgenre, and it was just a serendipitous aligning of pieces to get this film made. Raven Banner, the Canadian distributors, own the rights. One of the producers just happened to be friends with Daniel, and it all just kind of came together.
You don't often get what's called like a direct offer from a director who wants you in their movie. So when I got the call, like he was saying, this guy Michael, who I've known from the past, he calls me up and he says, hey, we're doing this movie called Stalker, and the director really likes you. He wants you for the movie. I'm like, I'm in.
Daniel's had such a long, like prolific career, and it just like it just aligned with the character so well. This guy who's like been through so many different types of projects, like big and small. And the way I wrote the character is that he's like a guy who's kind of seen and done everything at this point. So the idea of having like a super experienced action man like Daniel was just such a perfect fit for the story I wanted to tell.
People ask me about this film, and I say, this movie is Steven Kostanski. It may be Stalker, but this is him. I mean, this movie is bred, lived, written, shot by you, I mean, everything in this movie, he did everything himself, the visual effects, the monsters.
And that's what it's been for me, like, since I started making movies.
It's incredible.
It's easy to emulate low-budget genre movies from the 80s when you're a low-budget genre movie. I mean, that informs the aesthetic automatically. And I went into it knowing that, so I intentionally designed the look of the film around like a budget-conscious approach, but also something that harkens back to movies that I love, like the Stalker films, but also specifically stuff like, I don't know if you guys have seen the live-action Fist of the North Star movie from the 90s, which is an entirely studio-shot movie, and it looks like it. All the exteriors are interior. It's a weird, surreal vibe that I wanted this movie to have, because I knew no other film that I make would be able to have that kind of unreality to it. And that, I think, helps inform the kind of like 80s fantasy aesthetic, as well as that kind of studio set vibe. It's a big little movie, if that makes sense. And I think that is the true essence of what those types of movies were back in the day. They didn't have a lot of resources, but they had a lot of imagination.
I have a really dear friend. His name is Bob Odenkirk. He's a wonderful actor. And I worked with him on all the Nobody movies. I've been training with him for years, and we became very close. So when I got Stalker, I called him up and I said, hey, listen, I got this movie. He goes, Daniel, send me the script. I sent him the script. He goes, I'm going to read the first like 20 pages, and I'm going to tell you what I think, if you want. And I said, absolutely. So he read the first 20 pages, and he said, people love those kind of movies. Don't fall into the trap and play the joke. Don't. Just play it sincere. Yep. Which was the best advice I could have got. And the great thing about Steven was he is such a generous director that whenever I had like a weird idea, he would go like, oh, that sounds like fun, let's do it. Or you would come to me and you would go, hey, Daniel, what do you think about this? And I'm like, that's great, let's try it. And I mean, there's so many funny things in this movie that we kind of found on the day.
Well, yeah, I'm the kind of director that like, I don't necessarily need to stick to the page. Yeah. I get bored of things quickly. I like jamming on ideas in the moment. Yeah. I feel like that's when the magic happens. That's when your imagination really turns on. And so for me, making movies, it's always about setting up the sandbox and then playing in the sandbox and making it comfortable for your cast and crew to all be imaginative in their own ways and come up with things and like just enhance what's on the page instead of just being a slave to the words and being like, well, we got to do what's there and let's just shoot that and call it done. It's like, no, I want to like expand on that blueprint and see where it goes and pursue these weird ideas, because that, to me, that's the fun of the art of filmmaking. It's a lot of you performing against real things. It's not like we were on a green screen the whole movie. It was like the monsters were in your face. Just Daniel kicking the shit out of them for 90 minutes is like the ultimate fantasy.
Locarno, come stai? Go see Stalker. It's really funny. I think you're gonna love it.
Yeah, what he said. Check it out, it's great.